Welcome to Own Your Own Stuff, the way back to connecting with partners, coworkers, family, and community. Featuring your host, Jane Donovan.
I reserve the right to change my mind. This is one of my favorite sayings, and it has been for several decades. As we all look back on the past, we can see how we've grown, changed our opinion or knowings on something, and how beneficial it's been to be open to the new. And never is this more important than now to consider this mindset. Recently, I witnessed some volatile online engagement between a few people who I know to be kind, bold, but very giving people. However, they were fighting over who had the real truth and who didn't. The fear of infiltration from the establishment and the fear of who to trust was driving the debate. I too am fascinated by all the new learnings we're experiencing. And while some of them are traumatic and can be quite destabilizing, many of them are also exciting. I love to learn new things and sharing them for, all who are interested to hear. However, I don't want anyone to believe anything I say just because I said it. It's not my job to convince anyone of what is and what is not. It is, however, my intention to spark a curiosity in you to consider new ways of being or doing or thinking or feeling. And if this does spark a desire, then start to gather your own evidence to see if this is your knowing, and knowing that for now, it suits you and your situation and your growth. What is it we are needing at this particular time to assist us to be our best version of ourselves? Do we need soothing, motivating, distraction, guidance, peace, joy, hope, wisdom, change? This will be different for each of us and at different moments. So who are we to judge what another should or shouldn't believe? Of course, as long as it's harming none. Is it our place to tear down another's belief system that could, in these traumatic times, be the very thing that is keeping them from being curled up in a fetal position, crying on the floor, wanting to stop the planet and get off? Typically, most people will ebb and flow in their learnings over the years. There'll be times of great action and researching, learning, talking, growth and sharing of what's newly been discovered. And then there'll be times of quietness, of nurturing, processing, pondering, and integrating the new into our lives. Knowing ourselves and managing our primary sensory operating bandwidth is important to ensure we don't become too overly stimulated or understimulated. And I know I spoke of this in the Rise of Sensitivity episode. Managing with greater awareness, it will result in an easier time maintaining our energetic harmony. And for many, it takes courage to take on or at least try out new ways of being, new knowings and beliefs. And as such, the time to take in new information for growth, it's to be chosen by each person individually at a time that's right for them. I often ponder the question, who decides what harm none is? The reason I ponder this is what harms one may actually benefit another, and vice versa. What benefits some could harm others. How do we determine what harm one is? Is it intention? And is intention enough? Someone could have a great intention, however, lack knowledge and therefore, harm another by taking away maybe one of their, foundational belief systems. One could have knowledge, however, lacking compassion and unintentionally harm another. However, another thought process is, do we run the risk of a suppressed society by being so considerate of another's position that we don't share any potential conflicting thoughts? I don't know the answers. I simply ponder these questions as I feel these are going to be huge and very tough questions and conversations as a community that we need to have moving forward. While we're in the early stages of birthing a new way of being, I feel it's important that we continue to explore these questions, such as how can we be more consciously aware of what harming another can or could look like. For now, I feel the practice of owning our own stuff and moving to greater emotional intelligence, it's laying the strong foundation that we need for these important community conversations to take place. As we do this, I encourage us all to practice more of being in grace, as well as being generous in spirit. Being gracious and generous in spirit is something that's often undervalued in our society, and yet, in my opinion, are two of the most beautiful qualities a person can demonstrate. It can be hard to be gracious when triggered, or generous in spirit when struggling to find your own inner peace, or your place in this, let's face it, ever-changing world. However, something that's helped me over the years is to realize we all have the gift of mastery of something. Everyone has a natural talent they give to the world. And as we acknowledge another's gift, it allows us to be humbled by this mastery. But first, let's acknowledge your mastery. If you don't know what your gift is, here's a tool to help identify and acknowledge it. Typically, a gift or mastery is something that you find very easy to do, something that comes to you effortlessly and easily. Or it could be something that you've been fascinated by, possibly for years, that brings you great joy. So you've spent likely a great deal of time mastering it. It may be that you're brilliant at soothing people, or you always know the right thing to say at the right time. Or perhaps you're someone who can easily see the planning steps that we need to take to achieve, well, something big. Perhaps you have the mastery of being able to fix broken things. Or you have an energy that allows others to feel motivated around you. It could be that you're a visionary of what could be possible, or that you're a nurturer of all in your world. Most people will undervalue this gift that they have. They may have the belief system that everyone has this gift and that they aren't special. Well, here's the great news, and that is that you are special and you do have your own unique gift that the world is needing from you right now. I encourage you to explore what is your unique talent, gift, mastery, and own this about yourself. Whatever it is, I promise you, it's much needed right now. And as we move more into the restoration of people and the planet, we will want each of us to be bringing our area of mastery to the gathering so we can co-create in the highest frequency possible. Another tool I use in this area is the awareness that while we each have a gift or area of mastery, we also have areas that are not as developed, or I guess in other words, a long way from mastery. None of us are all masters in all areas. I think that in some areas, I may be a young child, likely to perhaps be in kindergarten, or maybe even a toddler. In other areas, I'm a teenager in high school, and perhaps another area, I may be at university. If we look at breaking things down into, say, 5 different areas that are all connected, let's look at these as our IQ, EQ, BQ, SQ, and CQ. These could be intellectual intelligence, emotional intelligence, body or physical intelligence, spiritual intelligence, and social or community intelligence. Someone may be a true master in one of these areas, at an average level in another area, and perhaps a complete beginner in yet another area. An example could be that they might be a master at the physical body, yet perhaps are at high school for intellectual intelligence, or maybe kindergarten age for spiritual growth. Or another may be a master of spiritual intelligence, yet learning as a beginner about physical intelligence, and perhaps a budding adult in the world of social awareness. None of us are all masters in all areas. So perhaps this way, we can celebrate another's gift of mastery and nurture the learnings in all areas. This thought process allows for grace to be vibrationally brought to any engagement. There are times to sit back and learn, and there are times to be actively sharing. And this allows the generosity of spirit by acknowledging another's success in their area of mastery. A huge bonus to this, by the way, is that thinking this way also prevents us from putting other people on pedestals, kind of believing they know it all. The problem with this is that ultimately we will find out in time that they too are human, they too make mistakes, they don't know it all, and are having exactly the same human experience we are all experiencing. When we place another on a pedestal, we're setting them up to fail and us up to be disappointed. Instead, seeing them as a master of an area that you wish to learn more about allows us to love them for their gifts of mastery that they're bringing into our world. And it also allows us to love them too for their human, perceived flaws. It's fabulous to be around like-minded people. However, it's also exciting to be around those who are masters in other areas. The echo chamber is real, and expanding outside of that to connect with those that have gifts and mastery in areas perhaps you're yet to experience really is divine. This is where the collaborative co-creation gets exciting. And when we really own our own stuff, and by that I mean own our own gift, we stand side by side with those with different gifts, knowing our worth, knowing our value, and knowing our ability to contribute and play the role in the collective of the creation of the new within our community. This is unity. This is connection. This is the love frequency. And you are very much valued, worthy, and a necessary part of the melting pot of this life together. How can we show up with boldness to be the example of unity and connection, yet still meet people where they are at? Another topic I've seen in discussion recently a lot is that of the right path. Who decides this? The individual decides for themselves when the time is right for them to make a change and to embrace something new. My intention is only a simple invitation to each to be curious and contemplate if this feels vibrationally in alignment with who you are and where you are at right now. And then it's something chosen by the individual to pursue. If it feels right for you, it is. And if it feels wrong for you, it is. Vibrationally, it is crazy at the moment. And as a past matchmaker, I'm kind of pleased I'm not doing that right at the moment, because most people are struggling to maintain a level or a steady vibration, as I've mentioned in previous episodes. And to engage with others during this time really is a challenge. I call this the XY chaos. The X vibration is the old way of being in any area of your life. And the Y vibration is a conscious decision that you've made to change to something new, a new desire. So as we practice being in the Y vibration, the new vibration, the old X vibration or subconscious will rear its head and do its best to not have change occur. Self-sabotaging, of course, the new Y desire. So now we have this chaos going on, a bit like a battle between the old and the new. 1 minute the Y vibration is winning and it feels great, then the next moment, the X vibration's back dominating. However crazy this can feel, pushing through the chaos by doing your best to focus on the new intentions, the Y vibration, will do the trick. The more time you spend in the new vibration, the more stable it becomes. And eventually, the old vibration, the X vibration, ends up dissipating. It may take some time or it might happen quite quickly. However, if you know to expect it, then you're not thrown by the chaos. Well, not thrown quite as much by the chaos. As you learn to hold the energetic intention of the new way of being, the old X vibration or old story, it will start to pop up less and less often and for shorter periods of time until we get to a point where you're living and experiencing the new desire, the Y vibration, the vast majority of the time. And when the X or old way does rear its head back up, be kind to yourself. It's just a signpost or guidance message to help you to stay on track with your desires. Often people give up on the new desire, the new Y vibration, as the chaos of change between one way and the next becomes too much. Take baby steps. Celebrate your successes. Feel the positive in the now moment when you're in your new desire. And when the old way does pop up, just acknowledge it for what it is and then let it go. Persistence, determination, and a knowing that pushing through is the only way through and that it is always, in all ways, worth it. So hold strong and keep going. I like to remind people too that this isn't a competition. While it's nice to have role models to aspire to be like, there is no room for unfavorable self-comparisons to others. This is a time of being your biggest cheerleader. And nor is there any room for superiority and giving in to the urge to perhaps put another person down to feel worthy. This instead is a time for self-growth, however that looks for you. Everyone on the planet at the moment is in some form of PTSD. And so each person is doing their best to work their way through their stuff. Be kind to you. Be kind to them. And if you're struggling, reach out to someone you trust to support you. We need you to be your beautiful self, fully aware of who you are and ready to be a part of community of conscious, self-aware and connective people, ready to form the strongest unity ever, because together we are indeed stronger. Doing the work is so important, and I know I carry on about this all the time. However, the reason, besides this being the best gift you can give to yourself and to your relationships, it's that globally, each day, more truth and more trauma is being exposed. People are in shock, and many more people will be in shock in the coming times. Each day, more people are seeing injustices occur, the systems collapsing, and the truth of who many of our most trusted leaders really are. Some will handle this new awareness perhaps relatively easily. However, I believe the very vast majority of people, this is going to be and will be shocking for them. So the call to action is for those of us who have gone through this experience to be ready and able to support those around us. It is our duty as fellow humans to be supportive of those most in need. And if we are to create a thriving community, then the only way to do that is to ensure everyone is able to thrive and not just some. We need to be strong for those who aren't yet, and we can do this only when we've done all we can to own our own stuff and lift our vibration to that of the love frequency. I hope you've enjoyed this episode and series of Own Your Own Stuff. I thank you for listening. I send blessings to you all with love and gratitude. Thank you.
You have been listening to Own Your Own Stuff with host Jane Donovan. To connect with Jane, head to janedonovan.com.au.